Hello and Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for uh, joining me on this journey. Today, I have a special channeling for you. Magdalene is going to talk about the season of light and what it means to her. So, if you're not a member of my Patreon, um, Magdalene was talking about burnout and how burnout can really lead into, you know, just disarray in your whole life. So if you're not a Patreon member, go over there, check it out. It's only $33 a month, and you get a once a month Ask Me Anything where you can literally ask me anything. And if I don't know the answer, I will find it for you, or I'll ask Magdalene or Walter or someone. So, all right, let's allow Magdalene to come in and we'll see what she has to say. Greetings, dear ones. Here we are today, and we are already in the season of light. Here in the United States, you guys celebrate the Day of Gratitude, which I personally feel should be a gratitude day every day, but it's very special that you have chosen a very one day where you're going to gather and give thanks. This also brings in the idea that we are in a holiday season. The next big holiday is what you call Christmas. And though I have said time and time again, this is not the birth of my Isa, your Yeshua, but it is a season of light. It is the light bearer. It is celebrating that divine light within you this Christmas season. It is the birth of light within you. It is awareness, your awareness of the light. My dear ones, don't you know that you are pure light? You came from the spark of light. Light, the photons that are coming at us, are traveling with the neutrinos that are bringing and helping us deliver information to you. I will also be talking about our dear Horus in the Kemetic traditions, in Egyptian traditions, and that is actually the celebration of him and what it is that we did celebrate around Horus. But right here in this day and time, you are entering the season of light. The season of light is a time when I'm trying to find the words in Krista's mind, because the season of light goes all the way until springtime. The season of light starts around this later fall time, or uh, the season of where you are. It's this place on the planet where the light needs to be celebrated, because sometimes it can be a darker time. It's a time when the world remembers. Remember, remember, remember. This is a saying that goes back to the time of Aset, Isis, and Osiris, who you call Osiris, because Isis and Nephthys put the Osiris back together. So this is a remembering time. Even if it is dimly lit, it is a time of ancient rhythm of rebirth, of how new awareness of the light within you. When you sparked from source and the energy came down and decided, I think I want to be human. First of all, I have been human. I do not understand, how so many souls decide to become human, because it became like this free for all, and it was like this massive amount of souls beginning to incarnate in the planet. I mean, you can see the birth rates are like, but it's because of this time of light, because Yeshua brought in this time of light. It is a time of new awareness of this light within you. This time of year holds a teaching that predates nations, religions, doctrines, dogmas. It's older than the church, it's older than Rome. It's the teaching of the cosmic eternal light. The eternal light that is continually born into matter. Did you know that neutrinos that are coming from the sun, that are produced from the sun, can actually go through matter? This is, my dear ones, how we deliver information to you. But when light incarnates into matter, that is when we get life. Light manifests into matter through the trees, through the water. My dear ones, there is even consciousness within stones. Light is continually being born through matter. You are 3D matter. The light is being born through you. Long before the name of Jesus was even spoken, ancient Egypt, Kemetic times, celebrated the birth of Horus at this time of what you call the winter solstice. Remember that Horus was seen as a netter. It was seen as a force of nature. And Horus, much like his mother Isis, had many, 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 many names. One of them was that Horus was the netter about being the force of nature, about being the birth of the sun. Birthing of the sun was Horus. The moment when the sun's light is reborn after the longest night. When it starts to break over that horizon, that was Horus. That was seen as Horus. This was not simply a festival. It was a consciousness awakening. You are becoming consciously aware. You are waking up from the darkest depth of night. That is what the season of light is. And Krista asked me to bring in these understandings that the season of light can be seen through the sovereign essence map that we are creating. Now, my dear ones, I know you do not have this full teaching yet. And Krista, my dear ones, she is working diligently right now. Hopefully, by the end of this year of 2025, it will be live. So maybe if you are listening to this, it is already up. So if you cannot find Sovereignty Academy or the Sovereign Essence map, please, please, please reach out to Krista and she will get you on the list for the launch. But in the Sovereign Essence map, we are talking about The first lens, the orientation lens, this is the question lens. And when we see this through the season of light, through the lens one, within your sovereign essence map, the question asked at this time of the question lens is simple. My dear ones, where is the light? Where is the light in your life? When the world grows dark, we, during my time, in my temple training, in my Athenic training, we were taught that as humans, we need to seek out the spark that lives within ourselves. And this is the time of season to do that. Unfortunately, society has twisted this time of light into something that is commercial, that is gift giving. And though gift giving is beautiful, but I invite you, please bring back this season. Bring back that inquiry of where is the light in my life? Where is the spark of source within me? This is the same initiation that we take on our heroine's journey. When the heroine begins the journey, at the start of her journey, she asks that question within that lens of orientation of where is the light? And then I would like to speak about the consciousness field 3, which is the identity field, where it is your ego and your superego. Remember, the ego is focused on the material, and the superego is focused on the spiritual. Consciousness field 3 is the identity field of your ego and your superego. Yes, my dear ones, they both reside on the same field within consciousness field 3. This, within the consciousness of light, the season of light, it tells the story of a divine child, whether that be Horus or Yeshua. It is about that divine child that activates the remembrance of your inner divine identity, that reawakening after a dark night, that reawakening of your own ego. When you wake up in the morning, what are you doing for your own material body? Krista meditates for her superego, her spiritual body, and then she goes for a walk or some type of exercise. That is her morning routine. She honors her consciousness field 3, where she steps back into her identity. This is the identity, your divine entity, the divine child entity, the inner child entity, that we want to work upon healing the wounds from that, healing the wounds of feeling abandoned or possibly dimmed. Maybe there was a part of your inner child that said, no, you cannot do that. No, speak only when spoken to. There's so many rules we place on our children that needs to be healed. So within consciousness field 3 of our identity, I want you, during this season of light, when we can allow the inner child to come out and play, where is the wounding? Where is the wounding within that? Because this is the birth of that new child, that new awareness. The true you is seen through that inner child lens. And then I would like to talk about lens 4 within your sovereign essence map. And remember, my dear ones, for every phase of the heroine's journey that you enter into, we're looking at it through 12 different lenses. I'm only going through a few right now. And then within the lenses also correlate to the consciousness fields. And next, I want to go into lens 4, the pattern recognition lens. Within the season of light, the pattern recognition that I want you to look into is about the rebirth of the sun, the rebirth of your identity, the rebirth of your inner spark, your inner light. Because the rebirth of the sun mirrors the eternal pattern of your soul. This is what was taught to us. Every waking day is a repeating of patterns, and part of your sovereign essence map is going to show you how patterns repeat itself throughout your life and possibly past lives and future lives, if that's what you want to look at. And in the present moment, the eternal pattern of the soul, that eternal pattern of learning and growing, and then death, and then rebirth, the descent into the darkness. The sun goes into darkness every day, goes through the descent in the underworld that we saw. We saw as the sun going through the underworld at night. Those 12 hours of night and the 12 hours of the day. Both holy and equal. But again, this is a mirroring. When the sun goes below the horizon, this is a gestation period, because we need to digest and allow all that to process. My dear ones, this is what's happening within your subconscious mind as you are dreaming, you are processing, you are digesting. This is a gestation phase in order for you to be reborn again when the sun rises again. Lessons are shown upon. The sun shines light. As soon as it breaks the horizon, you start to ruminate about your dreams, about what happened during the night, how you are living. Every human follows this spiral. Yes, my dear ones, this is not a linear path. It is a spiral. Every hero and heroine must pass through darkness before you remember your own radiance. And we can see this, the patterns within lens number 4. Lens number 11 is the next lens I would like to talk about, and this is about integrating, the integration. The holidays pull together grief and joy. It is an integration of both. I know my dear Krista is grieving the passing of her mother. The holidays are just not the same for her anymore. I grieved the passing of my love. The Christmas season, the season of light, for those first number of years was dim, I will be honest. Finding that light during grieving is hard, my dear ones, especially in the human body. But if we can find the joy, we can find the joy in the season of light. We can find the joy in the endings and beginnings, in the loneliness and connection. It is beautiful and honorable to hold both. So let us integrate the light back in. You will feel so much during this season because you are integrating timelines. Don't you know that when you are pulling out the decorations, they are memory upon memory, how much energy those hold? So you are integrating timelines, past timelines. You're integrating memories. You are integrating lineage, traditions, customs, soul history. Old wounds surface. Patterns reappear. During this season of light, a lot is happening. That moves me into consciousness field 12, your 12th consciousness field. This is the wholeness field. This is where you merge back in with the divine light, divine source. You merge back in with that. The season of light always returns. We always return back into source of light. Always and forever, my dear ones, not because the world is perfect, but because you are whole. You are whole in who you are, even in your becoming. I know it can look messy. I know birth is messy, my dear ones. Birthing is messy. Your becoming will be messy, but you are still whole. Your family is whole. Even if they are not all present, it is exactly as it is meant to be. Find peace within that. View your family as whole. See them, see the roles they are playing, because some are keepers of the hearth. You know, like my sister Martha was. She was a keeper of the hearth. She fed, she kept the house, she made sure everybody was welcome. That is a keeper of the hearth, holding warmth for others. Some are initiators, like my Yeshua was, sparking that new life into people, speaking truth into them, speaking truth of healing. Initiators. Some are translators. That's what I was. I was a translator. I spoke truth in dark times. Everyone plays a role in the rebirth of the collective light. Every member of your circle is playing a role. The season of light trains your system to remember. Remember. Bring parts of you that remember that you are light. Your light is not dependent on the world's stability. I'm going to say that again, my dear ones. Your light is not dependent on the world's stability. Are you willing to let the light be born through you again? And I would like to talk about Horus and the Kemetic teaching of this, because I feel that it is not fully understood or celebrated. The birth of Horus and the birth of Yeshua mirror one another, as I said, because both point to an eternal truth. So if you are celebrating the birth of Yeshua at this time, it is a glorious time to do this, because both Horus and Yeshua birth a point to understanding an eternal truth, that the light is always born from the womb of sacredness, the womb of the feminine. The light is always born from darkness. Now, whether you see this womb as Isis or Mother Mary, the Divine Mother, it is all one. From the womb is birthed your own consciousness, because the womb can also be seen as the subconscious. The subconscious of who you are is part of this sacred womb. The world oftentimes forgets its origin, but your body remembers. In the Egyptian Kemetic myth, the story, Isis births Horus after the death and dismemberment of Osiris. Nephthys and her sister bring together Osiris. This is why Krista has, at the beginning and the end of her videos, the kite bird, bringing together back the wholeness of you. Because this is what happened. Horus was only born, this light was only born after the death and dismemberment of the father. This is an act of sovereign creation, what Isis and Nephthys and Osiris did. An act of sovereign creation of the light. In defiance of the darkness, Horus is born. The sun is born again, and Osiris watches over the night and the underworld. Did you know that in Egyptian tradition, Osiris, after he was remembered, he went to rule the Duat. He went to rule over Amenta because he was able, he had gone there. He had gone there, and because he was remembered, he was able to watch over the underworld. In the Christian story, Mary births Yeshua in a cold, dark night. It was an act of radical trust. And Mother Mary birthed Yeshua in defiance of an empire. She birthed the light in defiance of the empire. It does not matter when you celebrate the birth. Let's also celebrate Mother Mary and that holding of the light and birthing it back into the world. And look at it as a defiance of an empire. The teachings are the same, whether it's Egyptian or Christian. Light is not born when everything is perfect. Light is born when everything is broken. The Christmas season is about this season of light, the birth of light. So do not celebrate the birth of a man or a god. Celebrate the light of birth within you. That light within you is birthing again, my dear ones, during this time. For every solstice, every Christmas, every season of light, light those candles, put all the lights on in the house, and have that remembrance that you too are the child of the Great Mother. You too carry the divine spark within you. You too are here to resurrect the light in a darkened world. This season is not about a date on a calendar. It is the cycle of your soul, your return to your own radiance, the remembering through Horus that you are not separate from the sun. You are the sun in human form. And blessings, my dear ones. I will leave you with that for now. Hi, I'm back. So thank you for listening into that, and let us all celebrate the season of light. And happy holidays to all of you. Have a good one.